Welcome back to Veteran Idiot. I'm Art, this is Earl. We are back in the shop after a long time. It's been a minute for sure. Been working on all this swamp cooler, stuff like that. By the way, it is sprinkling outside, humidity is up, and so this swamp cooler is not doing anything at all, and it is moist in here. But that's okay, we're gonna work through it today because I have got a wild hair up my arse to go ahead and sand and restain the bed on Earl. This thing it's kind of hard to tell from over there, but it's wavy, it's cracked, it's terrible. It needs a good, we may plane some of it, but it needs a good leveling out, sanding, and then restaining so it doesn't get any worse at all. And we may throw some more oil on the rails as well, but that's what we're gonna do today. For those of you that wanted an update on Scrappy, it is 7,000 degrees outside. That thing has no air conditioning, so it is terrible to drive. Doesn't get much airflow through the inside. Warm. So it's just hot boxing, you get swamp arse, everything else. It's terrible. So it's sitting out there for right now until maybe, the thought is that maybe we'll throw in like an electric air conditioning system, like something out of a Tesla or something similar to that, where we can just hook it up and run it and it's not pulling off of the engine except for the amperage on the alternator. But that's the thought. Maybe we'll look into doing something like that. I haven't seen it, I've heard of it, and it's a lot cheaper than rebuilding that entire air conditioning system, so we'll see. Don't hold me to it, but we'll see. Also, there's merch coming down the line, and as soon as we get that all set up, you guys will be the first to know. That way you can look as cool as me. There's a bunch of different designs, but you'll see that's upcoming soon. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start grinding on this bad boy and sweating our nuts off. So the first thing we got to do with this junk is get these rails off. I think initially from the factory these were like a stainless, and then somebody painted over them. Maybe they were getting rusty or something like that. The problem is that I don't want to clean it off and then expose the bare metal. It's just going to rust and it's going to look like crap. So we'll probably just leave it this black color. It's almost like a gunmetal color. Leave it like that and throw it back on. It's in really good shape, so I really don't want to touch it, don't want to mess with it, because I have no idea how hard it would be to find these. And also I don't want to get all the little stainless bolts for it, because those are like $2 a piece and there's 1,700 of them in here. So let's go ahead and get these rails off so we can expose just the boards, and we'll probably leave the boards in place. I'm not sure yet. We'll play it by ear because that's how I do things. But it's not going anywhere. Why is it so greasy? I think they really oiled this thing down with some sort of gel stain or something, and hopefully it doesn't clog up. There's still some on the surface here. Hopefully it doesn't clog up our belts on the sander, because sanding these guys with all of that crap on there, didn't matter how much stripper I put on it or anything. It was a lot of DA discs. RIP. Took a long time, I'll say that. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. We're exactly 2 bolts into it, and we've already encountered our first spinner. Let's see if we can lock it up somehow, keep it from spinning. This might be a bad idea to do this entire thing. Come on out there. There it goes. I feel like we're gonna be messing with a lot of these, unfortunately. The key is just spun out of it. What have I started? Ooh, it's got a little spring to it. This one does not. It is free. All right, let's keep going. All right, they're all out except for one on that end. I got to get a wrench on it to get it out of there, but these are all nice and springy. Should be fun getting back in. Might not be too bad. Who knows? But the wood itself is just sitting in here, but I think I'm just going to sand and do everything down on here because I don't have a table big enough to do it outside anyways. Could use some sawhorses, but they're thin board. They're 1 inch. So the bow and stuff like that. So we just plane it right here or sand it with the belt sander right here in the spot. It should not move too much. Let me get you in here and I'll show you some more of this. Some of this wood is definitely seen better days, but I don't want to replace any of it because this wood is hard. It's nice and hard. If I replace any of it, I got new wood, it's soft. Everything I do with it is just going to screw it up. So I want to leave this on here, just clean up the surface, clean some of the splintering off, and then stain it, and it'll be perfect for this truck. Okay, all right, we're ready to start sanding this bad dog down. To the dude that last did this bed, that got this bolt in place and or out and then back in, bravo to you, sir. Bravo to you. You are a better man than I. So this is a better look at what we're looking at here. The bed's not in terrible condition, but you can see it's raised and splitting. So I want to try and level this out. Maybe we'll fill it with something later, but we'll level it out, see what it looks like, and then take care of it from there. It's hard to tell in this camera, but they're raised on these areas. Almost like it was pinched between, swelled, and then split in the center. We'll go ahead and start sanding all this down. Break out the belt, see what the belt sander looks like going on there. Maybe too much grit. I don't want to take a whole lot off. Like I said, I just want to take the aging off of the top, and then we'll stain it from there. But we'll see what the belt sander looks like first, and maybe just a little area. Try and stay away from the edges because I like the patina on the sides. Well, my old belt sander killed itself. As soon as I plugged it in, it was set to kill mode. Drove off the side of the truck. Trigger wasn't even on. It wasn't locked, nothing. I don't know. Some weird thing happened inside, and then it... So, tried to do it with the DA for a little bit. It will take me 7.5 years to sand this down with that DA, so I'm going to go get another belt sander, and then we'll come back and we'll start tearing this thing up. That way we can do the fine tuning with the DA, and not all of the work with that little tiny DA. I'll be back. 2 hours into this. I got 2 planks done. So we're gonna go ahead and call it, and we'll see you on the next episode. I'm just messing with you. I'm gonna take a couple hours, keep going on this, and we'll get right back with you guys. Well, 3 hours later, it's all planed and sanded. I had to use my hand planer because I don't have a stand-up one that you would slide the boards through. Probably would have been done in about 5 minutes had I had one of those. Although I like the fact that we did it with the hand planer because there leaves some dark spots here and there. Gives it some personality. So I think it looks good like that. Now, since my hands are all cramped up and my back is locked up, I'm gonna go inside, shower, eat, and go to sleep. We'll come back outside in the morning, hit this with a DA to get the fine finish on it, and then we'll stain it and be done. Kind of. A bunch of these bolts stripped out. So that's neat. See you in the morning. We're back. Got my best sanding and staining attire on. My favorite 2024 Suns playoff shirt that they got swept in. We're not going to talk about that. But this morning, we're just going to quick and easy hit this with the DA, finish up some of the roughness that the belt sander left, and then throw on some oil. And we'll be done with this thing. Put it back together and be done with it. There is a lot of stuff that I gotta clean out from inside the rails and stuff like that, just as I don't want it to rust inside this bed. And then we'll be done with this guy and it'll be ready. So I'm really trying to finish up and clean this thing up, because coming up, we got the Run to the Pines up in Sholo. And if you're familiar with Arizona and this car show, it's kind of like a big deal up in the eastern Arizona side. They only allow about 500 cars or so to go to it, and it's kind of like a race to get registered before everybody else. So it's kind of a cool little tour. We do a drive through Sholo up Lakeside and over to the casino and hang out. But we'll be going to that this year instead of duct tape drags. So if you were planning on going to duct tape drags to hang out with us, you should head up to Run to the Pines. Or you could still go to duct tape drags and hang out with Steve Tackett and Tackett's House Horsepower. But that's why I'm getting this thing all cleaned up, getting it nice for the car show and the drive and stuff like that. So hopefully we can also hit the Western Hot Rod Power Tour if they do it again this year. Still waiting to see if they're going to do that. But let's get back on this thing so I can get some feeling back in my hands. Also, in case you were wondering, there is dust everywhere in here. So won't be painting anything anytime soon. This is going to be difficult to get out. It kind of just swirls in here when you blow with the leaf blower, so it's going to blow up and then settle down again, and then blow up and settle down again. I'm going to have to put like 25 fans in here facing out towards the garage. It is dusty. Just know that. This humidity outside is really messing with the efficacy of this swamp cooler we just put in. I think combined it's 7,000% humidity in here. I may just kill the pump to that thing and just let some air flow through here, but we're all sanded down. Everything's nice and smooth. There was a bunch of swirls and stuff like that from the belt sander. That's really what I wanted to get out. I wanted to leave a lot of this personality in here, so didn't get real too deep into this stuff and sand it down. I use this truck all the time, taking trash. I think we almost just got crashed into by a plane. But taking out the trash, hauling hay, all kinds of stuff, engines, everything. So I use this truck all the time for all of that. And so I'm not really worried about getting every single little detail out. And because the entire truck is patinaed, I think it kind of gives it personality to leave that stuff in. So that's what I chose to do. So now we're gonna blow it off, wipe it down, and then we're gonna throw some oil on it. Cool, now this thing's all wiped off and some of the sweat is dried up from the crack. Never mind. So I like to use Danish oil. That way I can just apply it over and over and over again as it dries. I don't like using the gels. I think they are an absolute nightmare to get off, which was hard enough to get this off of these boards. But this oil makes it good, just kind of brings the color of the wood itself out. I don't want to stain it in any weird color, red or anything else like that, or have it gloss. So this just gives it a nice, what I prefer, tone, and almost like the wood looks wet all the time. So that's what I go with. Y'all can pick whatever you want. Or if you have some good suggestions, put it in the comments and other people can follow. Or maybe I'm just doing it wrong and that's why I don't like using those other products. Could be one of those things. Come on. Child-proof cap is child-proof. Yeah. Sweet baby Jesus. There we go. All right, let's give it some juice. It's gonna spread around liberally. We're just gonna really give it the home. And then we can apply more coats if we need to, or whatever. But it goes on pretty thick. I mean, like, I pour a lot on and then smear it around thick, not like it's hard to rub in. It just kind of rubs in really easy. You may want to use gloves. And the good thing about this oil too is that, like, I'm not going to get an area that has too much on it or anything like that. It's not going to leave a weird stain. If I come back and do one area again, it's just going to soak into the wood and be the same all the way down. Also, I should point out, it's super dry here in Arizona, so this oil is good. For us, it's not really a big deal for like sealing, making sure keeping out moisture, although this oil probably does a pretty good job of it. We don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And this truck stays in the shop most of the time. All right, I'm gonna continue to knock this out. We'll see that finished product. Cool, we're gonna let that set and soak. I'm gonna run to the store and get some extra bolts for this side since some of them were all kind of stripped out. And we'll start throwing those bars back on in the middle in this project and be done. I hope. I can't feel my hands. Oh, I'm back in a little bit sad because 10 bolts, 10 nuts, and 10 washers, it's $50. If ever there was something that made me want to punch a kitten in the face,
What did he just say?
It's 10 bolts, 10 nuts, and 10 washers for $50. Totally worth it, I guess. Now the project's almost done and it didn't really cost me anything because I already had the oil. I did have to go buy a belt sander, but that was $50. Belt sander, $50. 10 nuts and bolts and washers, $50. Tell me how that makes sense. All right, well, I'm gonna put these in. You guys enjoy the time lapse and the music. Yeah, there she is, all cleaned up, nice and pretty. It's a good old truck, and the more stuff we do like this to this thing, the more we make sure it stays for a long time as a good truck. I appreciate you guys watching me. I'm probably gonna throw some more oil on these rails up on the top. That way they match this down here, and there's some dry spots on here. We'll get some oil on that too, but appreciate all you. Make sure you stay tuned. Remember, I got some merchandise coming out, and that'll probably be in the next video or so. We'll start debuting that, and I'll show you the website and everything else. But for right now, appreciate all you watching me. My hand's cramping and working till I can't stand up straight. Thanks for watching. As always, have fun. Oh yeah, also make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That helps too.